The following podcast is intended for mature audiences. If you enjoy our work, please like, comment, subscribe, and follow the links in the description. Thanks for your support, and enjoy. Greetings and salutations, listeners. I, Eric J. Chucci, joined, as always, by my fellow pretendsman, the boy. We have got to get a new intro.
I mean, you just fucking crank the little bucket up every week.
Every fucking week you think I'd come up with something. Nope.
You just maybe spend like 10 minutes brainstorming throughout the week as to what, possible jokes.
Yeah, sure, I could if we had a fucking topic at the beginning of the week.
I know, that's super adorable, right? This little sneak peek behind the curtain of the Tuners podcast. Normally, what we're going to podcast about this week is decided literally moments before we hit record.
Well, I mean, not normally. Normally we have something, like we know WrestleMania is this day.
No, it's been long enough that I think we can say normally now.
Last year was really dry, dude. Like, not a lot of movies came out.
No.
There were not a lot of big video game releases that we cared about.
Well, there were at the end of the year, but then we talked about it.
Yeah, I mean, well, we did, but like most of last year was really fucking dry. There was a lot of us going, shit, I don't know, what is there news? Do we know news? And that's for the past fucking week. Like this whole year, guys, listener, Ultimo, I'm sorry. It's gonna be the case. This is an election year. So unless some big nerd shit drops, and we do have TMNT 2, we've got the
Civil War.
Yeah, Civil War. I'm sure we'll find the plot of Batman and the Infinite Sadness out and bitch about that.
Mm-hmm. I also may obtain it through completely legal means, but I'm not giving them my money, so.
Yeah. And there's big games dropping this year also, I believe. So there will be stuff this year, but like news-wise, I don't see us getting too much. Because Los Politicos are going to be overriding most of that, I reckon.
Yep, and it's not our podcast.
That's not this podcast. So expect a lot more,
weird esoteric shit, like we're going to give you this week.
Video game facts, and what do you like on your pizza?
We're just going to start stealing ideas from other YouTubers. We're just going to, find popular, YouTube video concepts and just do those.
Hi, I'm Nate Wants to Battle, and I'm here with Wow Krendor.
I'm gonna do dating sims, visual novels. I'm gonna make funny voices. It's gonna be great.
Oh, fuck. Anyhow, if you can read, today we're talking about back to the topic we talked about a year ago, e-fitting. In a greater sense, online play-by-post role-playing.
Which, this is a fun story. Kind of goes to this. I started, obviously, in e-fitting. That's mostly what I've done with online play-by-post role-playing. So much so that for a long time I had no fucking idea what it was called. I hadn't looked it up, so to me it was just e-fitting, but, not about wrestling.
Yeah, this is an X-Men e-fit.
Yes, that's exactly how my brain categorized
I usually just said role-play board. I mean, but, if you want to get super specific, if you want to classify shit, you say, play-by-post. Because there's other shit, people get in shout boxes, and they'll get in chat rooms, and this, that, and the other thing. Whatever.
And play-by-post role-playing has its own specific flavor, too. It's very good for a specific kind of... I would honestly be more inclined to call it collaborative writing.
Sure. Collaborative or competitive.
There's usually some manner of both.
And is one of the two.
Yeah.
So, last year when we talked about this, if my memory serves me...
He says if his memory serves him because we started to listen to the podcast from a year ago, then we saw what time it was and went, no, we don't have time for this before the podcast.
No, we meandered like motherfuckers at the beginning of that podcast. Like we used to, because we had to fill an hour. Now we're like, yeah.
Right on top. Here's the topic. Let's go.
Like we didn't fuck around at the beginning of this one.
For 3 solid minutes.
Yeah, whatever.
And we're fucking around now. Moving on.
Last year, I was taking my second most recent major hiatus from running an eFed. For those of you,
the number of qualifications.
Right? No, I was replacing them. They weren't qualifications. For those of you who don't know what an eFed is or play-by-post role-playing thing is, Google. But since you're lazy, or maybe listen to this on a phone, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt, listener.
They could be driving. Don't Google and drive.
Yeah, don't Google and drive.
Unless you got one of them fancy voice programs, and even then...
And you're like, hold on, podcast stop, Google what is play-by-post role-playing, then read it to me. And then Brian Blessed comes on and is like, play-by-post role-playing is...
Wait. Can I get that version of the fucking Google Siri?
Someday. It's a board, like the old-fashioned message boards, which is what people did before social media when they liked things.
Yeah.
You all post, like, make pretend. It's like Dungeons and Dragons, but on the internet and with pretty much no dice most of the time.
And it's usually a lot more focused on
collaborative storytelling. So in that way,
storytelling or character interaction.
It's more like Vampire the Masquerade or LARPing, where it's not so much about dice rolls and successes and all that shit as it is telling a good story.
You know, LARPing is actually strangely a lot about the mechanics. It's weird.
It depends on what LARP you're doing. But like a vampire LARP, it's very mechanics-like. It's mostly about talking. But anyway. Working off a hearsay here anyway. I don't LARP.
Sure. You know what? That's fine. We all believe you. It's a safe space.
I don't LARP.
Anyway.
I will confess many things on this program, but I don't LARP. Anyhow. E-fetting specifically is wrestling flavored. The way we do it is you write promos for your characters. Whoever had the best promos wins, usually. That's the idea anyway. So I ran an E-fed on and off for about 10 years, 12 years.
Yeah, 12 years. A little north of 10 years.
If you count all the time off, I'd say, yeah. A little north of 10 years.
If you count all the time off, probably somewhere around 8, 6 maybe. Yeah, maybe. Contiguously.
Last time we talked about this, I was taking a break. The stress had gotten to me. And, don't believe I was role-playing anywhere at that time, was I?
I have no idea, I don't remember. I know if NGIW was in hiatus, because it was at the time, I wasn't role-playing anywhere.
Yeah. I did start it back up again. That lasted 2 shows, so approximately a month. And like all the weird management shit that I was talking about last time, it just happened all at once. It's like, so I shut her down. I've had the bug again lately. I was going to start up a Pokemon role-playing board. I had everything all set to go. We were just waiting on some input, and then those of us involved sat around. We were like, hey, do you guys actually know anybody who's going to join? And we were like, no. Oh, maybe don't do this. maybe hold off until we know people who will join.
And that'll become a recurring theme throughout the podcast.
Well, you know what? I'm fucking glad we did that because, how many times have I opened a board and I'm like, all right, guys, come on over. And they're like, meh.
And you're like, oh, and then it's very sad.
Yeah, it gets really depressing. Here, I did it before we had a grand opening, and I was like, wait, do we have people? No. Oh, fuck this then.
But right now we are both actively e-fetting in a place. Is a wonderful little place. And
it's called Full Intensity Wrestling. It's not where I started e-fetting, but it was my first big e-fed. It's where I made most of my friends that I have online today. Little gassy, I'm drinking soda, excuse me. But, we've had a blast. I've been there since, April of last year. I actually put my application on April Fool's Day. A friend of mine was like, yeah, I'll believe this when, it's tomorrow and you're still... I was kind of notorious for April Fool's jokes, when I was running a Fed. But,
I've been there since, a little after Halloween?
October, November-ish.
Yeah, somewhere in there. I'm having just the best damn time.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun. And it's, for the most part, we have a really, 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 really good crowd. And I think the exceptions are super, rare.
Yeah.
And obvious.
And usually gone pretty quickly.
Yeah, they're usually
with their amazing ideas.
Hello, me name is Obvious Troll.
Me have best idea ever.
But, and it feels really good. And that's a lot of what, between Pokemon not happening and the tight knit of this group, I'm like, man, I want to run a role-playing website. You guys want to do a thing?
And this is actually a really, really good community, too.
Yeah.
Which is nice. I would say it's probably the most, and we have other friends who do play-by-host role-playing in different circles, and just, you hear stories, and honestly, I'd say probably after hearing those stories and experiencing what EFED experience I have, a tight-knit community that's committed to continuing the game, as it were, is hands down the most important thing in EFED, or any other play-by-post role-playing site can have. You need to have a community that, one, gets along, for the most part, obviously there's going to be disagreements, two, is committed to actually doing it.
Yeah.
And three, understands whatever the big conceit is of your particular genre of play-by-post role-playing. For FIW, it's competitive, so someone has to lose.
Which is the hardest pill for a lot of people to swallow.
But pretty much everybody in our current group gets that. So so that problem doesn't really come up much, but you get that a lot with people who, everybody has weeks where you don't think you should have lost, and then you lose. It's being able to not overreact, and I think we covered this last time.
I'm almost positive we did, because we were talking about why am I not running a Fed right now, and that was one of the biggest reasons.
And having a community that can understand it, in more story-based ones, the important conceit is knowing that sometimes, for the sake of the story, bad things are going to happen to your character. If it's, whatever the big conceit is, whatever the big conflict thing is in whatever your board is, I think having a community that gets it and doesn't hate it, essentially, is probably the most important thing.
Sure. I mean, because it's not like you're writing fan fiction, that's actually the opposite of what we're all doing, especially in an EFED, because you can't be a Mary Sue unless you're the best writer there. Always.
And in which case, you're not a Mary Sue, you're just literally better than everyone. It's not for no discernible reason. The discernible reason is you're the best writer. And if you're the best writer, the character you write who wins all the matches probably isn't going to be a Mary Sue. They're probably going to have believable flaws and conflict.
Sure, because you're a good writer. So.
And you're not judging your own matches, so...
Yeah.
Really, the only way you could pull off being a Mary Sue is if you ran the Federation, judged all the matches yourself.
Or if you had whoever's judging in your pocket.
And were a gigantic asshole and a terrible writer. In which case, I'm going to give you a little spoiler here, prospective douchebag who's interested in running an EFED for his own egomaniacal amusement. You're not going to have players very long.
No, yeah, that's the thing in, like I always see in DM's books for D&D, you can't abuse your players, don't do that. I'm like, yeah, because
who fucking needs this advice?
They don't have to be there. Except that people do need this advice. That's the fucking weird thing, because I forget that in the past, they're feds, with other general managers, shit like that, and stories that our friends have told us as well. But there are people who, whether they mean to or not, just sort of quietly shuffle all the good stuff toward them and their friends. Oh yeah, I'm going to put over these guys because, we've been friends since high school, so fuck you.
And, I mean, it's entirely possible that it's not malicious.
No, yeah, they're your friends, so you cleave more toward what they're
producing. You like it better because they wrote it, and because, obviously, if you're friends, you probably have similar tastes.
Right. Which is why, that was something that happened in NGIW a lot, was people would be like, you're just putting over your friends. I don't know why people thought that, I guess, but, FIW doesn't have that so much
No.
because their out-of-character community is active. People post stuff, talk about shit, have a good time, riff off each other, so on and so forth. So, I wouldn't call all of them up for tea, but, I know all of those individuals well enough,
There's no one who you dislike,
Sure. So, there's not that sense of, well, this guy's only putting over his friends, not that I decide who wins there, but, I am part of the judging team, but
well, pretty much everybody is.
Everybody's allowed to be.
If you're willing to judge the entire card, which, by the way, is one of the reasons I'm not part of the judging team. I don't feel I'm qualified to judge the entire card. I've been there 3 months.
That was 4 or 5 now.
Still.
But anyway,
if you're willing to judge the entire card, you can send in your judgments for the week like everybody else.
Yeah, it counts. But I am second in command. I am outed. I am one of the few people who is outed. Me and the actual Fethead.
Who is Sid, who is great.
Sid is great. So there's not me being biased toward my friends because, pretty much all these guys are my friends.
So there's no worry about that.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Every now and then, people get upset or they get, paranoid, and that's human. But we've been able to quell it really efficiently. And that makes me happy, because we're all fucking adults. When I was a teenager and doing this shit, it was drama every week. But that's we thrived in that because we were all fucking teenagers and 20-somethings. And we were like, yeah, fight the power. There's a conspiracy. Glass ceiling. And no, now most of us are over 30 and we're like, you know what? Hey man, you do you, okay? I'm just gonna sit over here with my fucking White Russian and not bother anyone.
It's a better way to be.
It's especially when you're trying to cooperate together. That's a lot of why I want to do something story based, something that's just a role play board and isn't competitive.
Yeah, same.
Because in the past they've all failed.
Yeah, that's I've been a part of several of those ventures. On one occasion, I think it was partially my fault. But I'm not going to take full blame for it.
I've had friends who've started, we've done Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Angel stuff. We've done usually X-Men centric, but Marvel stuff. And there was a Batman board briefly.
Very, very, very tragically briefly.
I
was going to play the Riddler. It was going to be great.
There was just a general superheroes board we did. There are a couple of Power Rangers ones. But for whatever reason, people just lose interest, they stop posting, and it just falls off. And we're talking about shit that was going down, 10 plus years ago. Not all of those boards have been that long ago, but most of them had little interest to begin with. The Power Rangers ones were usually all 5 people, each of them handling a ranger. Obviously, this is going to crap out. There's just not enough draw to keep the snowball rolling.
You need someone who's willing to play Balk and Skull.
And I tried to join one, and I wanted to join as a Goldar, but, the requirements were really steep for application.
This is a separate, outside of the little FIW circle fed.
Well, yeah, some of the people that were there, and the guys seemed nice enough, the guy who was running the board, but just the requirements to sign up were super steep, and I was
actually, I've heard that of a lot of, outside of our little circle of friends play-by-post things, is the applications are, really were fucking ridiculous. With long-form story applications where you're supposed to write your character's backstory out as a little novella of several thousand words.
Yeah,
Motherfucker, no. Not for an application.
I don't have time to read that shit. What makes me think you have time to write it? I'm not gonna fucking... Oh, what's that? Is that your backstory, huh? I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck.
Scroll. Nope, don't care.
So I don't ask for that shit. There was once upon a time in e-fetting, in the FIW NGIW circle, we'd ask for, a sample roleplay. Which, to be fair, isn't that's probably a good idea. Because A, if you're some rando, it would be nice to know what we're looking at so we know where to book you. B, if you're like me and you're trying out a new character, maybe,
sometimes that first roleplay is all you need to find out, this character doesn't work.
Yeah, this is bad. Or I can't roleplay them. One of the two. Usually the latter.
Yeah, like, I've had that same thing. I got a couple weeks in with the character, and then just went, oh, I can't roleplay this character. I like him, but I cannot roleplay him.
Yeah. Now they ask for experience. Just like, what's your experience in e-fetting? And most people list a number of years, but like...
You're an asshole and list jokes. Like, experience, beige.
Experience, well, I'm almost to level 70, but I plan on doing some dungeons tonight.
Experience, the magic experience. Yes, I usually, my actual, I think the only character I have at FIW, I put experience, a solid B+.
But it was important, and it's important to know that you know your character, especially if you're signing up for like a canon character at a roleplay board like Buffy or something.
Where they use canon characters a lot. Yeah, I actually say that might be a good idea.
But like, at the same time, you don't need to know, it's fucking, even back then when it was 2005, it's 2016.
It is current year.
I'll wiki that shit.
It is current year.
It's up there. I Google it. I will find it. If I need to know what character Spike spoke to in Season 5, Episode 6 of Buffy the Vampire Slayer and his exact verbiage, I can just look it up. It's out there.
Mm-hmm. There are actual moment-by-moment script-style breakdown synopses of pretty much every episode of Buffy.
So, I don't know. Maybe it's more of a pointed venture than I thought it was. Now that I'm laying it out like this. To try that role-playing board sort of thing again. There seem to be a lot of people interested in it. People like superheroes. I'm just
interested in various bits and bobs of it.
Sure. It's hard to get everybody on the same page.
Continued interest is also an issue. This is something I found. This is mostly just me having a discussion with White Raven now, which I go figure. It's why we started fucking.
I mean, yeah, fuck. Look, I can pull up notes about Satanus too if you want. Someday, listener, someday.
We're gonna fucking drag this brick across so many fucking podcasts that when the joke finally lands, it's gonna peter after.
It's like a timing thing. Like, I want to put like graphics in those videos. I ain't got time for that shit right now.
But so. Seconds again. So the problem that I've seen, I think, is actually a big part of the reason that more story-based feds, at least the ones in our circle, don't last very long, is that there's no real, well-established method of conflict resolution. Or even really usually of conflict.
Well, not necessarily conflict or conflict resolution. The problem is there's no timetable. And that's like, it seems like such a boon when you think about it. You're like, oh yeah, we can milk this scene for all it's worth and really get some good shit out of it. But like, in an E-Fed, most of the time it's weekly.
Week and a half, or whatever.
You've got your 5 days to get shit done. You better wrap up those fucking weekly storylines within those 5 days or fucking carry it over to next week. Because it's going to be at least 3 days before you get to write that shit again.
So, like, you better have your shit on point. You better be ready to work.
Whereas in a story fed, fucking every time it's happened.
You know what it is? It falls prey to the fanfiction author paralysis thing.
Yeah.
Where you have all the time in the world to respond to that roleplay. It's not like there's a deadline. I'll just respond to it when I get inspiration. Okay, but we can't wait 9 months for the next part of this battle scene.
Right. I mean, it's like, full disclosure, I've been writing a Ninja Turtles fanfiction for 2 years now?
Yeah.
There are precisely 2 chapters. It might be 3 years.
It's been a while.
It's been years.
Plural.
And I've only written 2 chapters.
And that's fine for a single, person creating a thing endeavor, if that's the speed you're working at, and if you're not under any deadlines or contracts, I guess.
Well, I've not posted it anywhere but like my personal websites just to get like a is this shit sort of thing. I haven't posted it on like a fanfiction website because I have no intention of sticking to a deadline at this point.
So the problem with the deadline-free sort of approach is that you get that.
Yeah.
You get that, well, I have all the time in the world. No, you don't have all the time in the world. Other people are waiting on your ass. Move on.
And it's not even necessarily like, other people are waiting on you for their character to have a cue to come into the thread, or because you're supposed to be at the big battle. Sometimes it's just like, well, can we start this yet? No, this guy's over here. I don't want to harsh that mellow. Oh, should we remind him? I mean, no, it's alright. It's free form, whatever, man. That was actually something I had in place in the Pokemon RPG. It was like, by Monday, if your battle's not over, it's over. We're going to tell you who wins. The end. Let's all move along with our lives. So I don't know. I mean, that's something to definitely think about. There have been other times where like interest got fucked up or the people involved left.
Or never showed up in the first place.
Yeah.
Looking at you, Batman board Joker. Looking right at you, motherfucker.
Who wasn't me, if you can believe it. I believe I was playing the Scarecrow?
You were playing the Scarecrow. You did your job.
I didn't have a job.
Exactly.
But, the problem with that was that there was a lot of villains, only 2 heroes, also.
Which is how Batman's supposed to work.
Right, that's why I think the Batman board in general is kind of flawed. I mean, yes, there's an extended Bat family.
I think you need a specific kind of, role-playing cycle. You see, the issue with there being many villains and only 1 hero, or maybe 2, there was a Perspective Robin, I believe.
Yeah.
Is that the hero's time is limited. So all that you have to have that do, all that has to happen for that to work is the hero does have to be a committed sort of role player who's willing to show up and role play a fair amount. 2, there's no reason each individual villain needs to be doing something at the front of the hero's attention at the same time.
Sure.
You can have, and again, having read a lot of Batman comics, there is no reason for those villains not to fight. If Scarecrow starts horning in on Croc's territory, Scarecrow and Croc fight. That's what happens. And then, they end up fighting for a while, they send goons, they do the thing. That gives those role players something to do till Batman's finished with whatever the Riddler's doing this fucking week, and then he comes in and does the Batman thing and puts their shit down. That's the kind of, you need to be willing to let the person role-playing Batman, win.
And this is just spitballing, because that Fed never started.
No, never. I put up 1 roleplay. And then everyone else stopped role-playing entirely, assuming that I was about to unleash my grand master plan.
Well, and we were waiting on the Joker to show up.
And he
because
never did.
This dude called Joker, right from the get-go, and was like, don't worry, I got some good stuff. So we were all waiting for the Joker. And he never posted anything.
It's okay, this guy fell off the internet. It's alright that we're bitching at him.
Well, I mean, fucking, hey, you out there in TV land. If you leave your dude hanging, feel bad. Apologize. It's not hard. Don't leave a dude hanging, maybe. That's a better idea.
I like that idea better.
But whatever. It's not like, you ruined the Batman board, we can never do this again. It's just, it was a thing that happened 9 years ago.
But it speaks to the same sort of problems you run into with this sort of thing.
Yeah.
Now, we've had a fairly sort of critical look at this. That's not to say, I don't know about you, I'm personally having a great fucking time at FIW.
Oh yeah, me too.
Best time.
We kind of let off with that, I mean, but, there's only so much you can say without going, oh man, listener, this is all the cool things my character's doing. Let me show you my Pokemons.
Oh my god, if you'd done the Pokemon board, that'd literally be what you'd say.
Yeah. But, you guys don't need to know the nitty-gritty. Either you're in FIW and you know, or you're not, and you don't.
You don't care. You couldn't give less of a fuck.
Fucking care. So yeah, it's good. It's cool. I'm having a lot of fun. Like I said, very tight-knit community. We're all, like, trying to help each other up. That's kind of what I do as second in command. I'm PR guy. Come on, guys, we can do this. Don't worry, we'll accomplish all of our dreams.
It's a weird role for you.
Well, I'm doing all right at it, so I'm not going to complain. It's fun, and if you're a listener out there and you find it intriguing, you should join up. Google Full Intensity Wrestling. I think it comes up.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it does.
I'm almost positive it does. And keep an eye on that space, because, fuck, I might open something in the near future. I miss helping people create stories. And, like, that's not really something you can do unless you are in charge of whatever board is going on.
Or if you have a lot of time to personally pen and paper roleplay, like, a lot.
Oh,
like
well, yeah.
And that's not a thing that adults have.
Well, yeah, like, fucking getting together once a week sometimes is really tough. But
which sucks, but, that's how grown-ups have to live sometimes.
Yeah. Gotta pay them bills.
But, I think if you can maintain interest level, it might be a really good idea.
That's the trick.
Yeah.
At this point, I'm having a hard time maintaining my interest level in the... Oh, good, superheroes again. What the fuck could I possibly do? Because I done played all the stuff I wanted to play. I done did Gay Nightcrawler. That was fun. I played Dark Beast once, briefly. That was nice. I did Deadpool and the Juggernaut as a tag team. Like, not in a literal wrestling sense, but they did shit together. A duo.
I played Toad in that. That was fun.
Yeah, that was fun. That's all I got. That's fucking...
Whereas I have like a billion concepts that I'd love to play, but, like, nobody did DM for me. Oh, because that's what a role-playing Fedhead is. Like, it's just the DM of the Federation, the DM of the setting. You
don't have to play NPCs quite as much.
Which is nice. Usually people will play their own NPCs.
Yeah. I've always found it kind of weird that I don't have a lot of ideas within the superhero genre of stuff I wanted. I mean, I do, but, like, it's the kind of stuff that requires I have executive control to tell a story.
You have stories you want to tell, not characters you want to play.
I have characters I want to see in those stories.
But they're stories you want to tell, not characters you want to play. There's a very marked difference. I have stories I want to tell, too. But that's different.
Yeah. I mean...
I can't think of anything else to cover this week for you.
No, I know it's kind of...
There's a new TMNT trailer that came out for the big Sportsball Championship.
I would run the fuck out of a TMNT fucking board. I would run the shit out of one of those, but nobody's ever interested enough.
No.
Most of the people I know are like, that's
it's a good idea.
There's the Ninja Turtles and Splinter, Bebop and Rocksteady and Shredder, Krang. I mean, are there any other characters? And I'm like, I hate you so much.
Look, I don't want to be Nameless Foot Ninja number 343, okay?
I hate you so much right now. I think you'd make a good Belly Bomb.
I don't even know who the fuck that is.
Belly Bomb is a bounty hunter. He's got like a big eye stalk with horns, and his stomach is a huge fuck off mouth, and he has nasty ass breath in his big stomach mouth, but like on his home planet, really bad breath is what they think smells good. So he's like kind of refined and cultured, but he smells like ass. And like he's always breathing nasty ass gas at the turtles, and the turtles are like, dude, oh, he smells so fucking awful. And he's like, it is the sweet bouquet of aromas. I have been rated highest among my people several times.
You think I'd do well as a douchebag who likes the smell of his own farts?
Yeah, I've read your work. I can totally pull that off.
That's fucking really fair. Oh.
There's a point in the Archie comics where they beat him by, like, fanning his own breath back at him, and he's like, "The sweet perfume is too much for my senses."
That makes no goddamn sense.
Well, like, perfume smells nice, but if someone fucking unloaded a whole cap full of it in your face, you might fucking pass out.
Right, but it's coming from his mouth.
I don't know. Shut up, it's Ninja Turtles.
I mean, they're already teenaged mutant ninja turtles. I mean, we can't get much more out there than that. Although, Krang, who, spoiler alert, is in the trailer, is pretty far out.
Yeah, aliens.
Krang, yo!
Yeah.
We live in a golden age.
We do. I'd like it if it were more golden, and we might talk about that sometime in the future, but, right now, it's good.
Yep. Well, I think I've stalled enough that I've absolutely killed any possibility of a segue, so everything's better when nerds talk about it.
I wondered why you didn't say a thing yet.